episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous podcast. My name is DK Diamantes, his name is Bricky, and well, hello there, Kirioth. But before we get into that, if you enjoy today's episode, then please consider supporting us over at patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you can get access to the Discord, bloopers if they happen. The $15 tier gets you access to all of our posters in just the crispiest HD format. And whoa, Bricky, I know you're just back, and I know you're, a little loopy, but new poster. Are you ready?
Hi, everybody. I've returned from Anime Expo, and I'm not sick yet, but I will be. And I've drank too much, and so I have hangover voice. Let's see this new poster. Wow.
I think you are both gonna love and hate it.
Oh, that's awful. This is not a good gift. This is a bad gift.
What?
Dear
I think
Lord.
it's great. What is wrong with it? There's abs, there's Big Boba, there's a cool warp stone. She happens to be a rat lady. What's wrong with it?
If I had more energy, I would curse your lineage.
I will riddle with holes your rotten hide.
I can't tell if it's the best one or the worst one so far. I don't know.
It's the best one.
I
one.
don't think it's either. However, I would absolutely say it trends towards the worst one.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I think it's wonderful.
How does she wear headphones?
Earbuds.
He thought it
Earbuds
through.
for sure. Before I say this, Bricky, do we have a Raycon thing still? Do we have a code for Raycon or something that we can just
Yeah, that's
I bet she wears Raycons.
Wow. Oh, that's a great idea. Roll the ad. And with that fantastic intro, thank you, DK. This video is sponsored by Raycon Everyday Earbuds and their fantastic new protective carrying case. These earbuds are incredible. I use them throughout Anime Expo. DK uses them as well. They've got long battery life, half the price of the big competitors with the same level of quality. The design is sleek and ergonomic and great for the ear. The noise canceling is also great, and they have this neat new protective carrying case that really just pulls the whole package together. The buds and the case are available in various types of colors and designs. They look good, feel good. Overall, they are just genuinely an excellent choice for getting new earbuds for yourself, your journey, wherever you're going, whether it's outdoors, travel, or just regular home use. So go ahead and click the link in the description to go to buyraycon.com/Aderic for 15% off your order and free shipping. Link in the description. buyraycon.com/Aderic, 15% off, free shipping, and thank you very much for sponsoring this video.
You don't actually have an ad, do you?
Actually, I do have an ad.
Oh shit! Is it a Raycon ad?
Actually, I unironically forgot until right now, because of the weekend. We do have a Raycon ad, yes.
Let's go!
That suddenly veered from being
Let's
the
go!
worst segue to I think the best. It's very worst and best. Very worst and best today.
There's a lot of pluses and minuses going on here. Yeah, I'm doing my best, dude. I'm doing my fucking best,
She
man.
uses Raycons, of course. Use code Aderic.
Oh, amazing!
I love it. I love it. I love it.
He
Also,
loves
just send
it.
me one of these in advance, Bricky. Don't even make me message you. Just send me one of these right now. As soon as the prints start, just immediately print one out, sign it for me, and you don't have to sign it, but just ship it off to me.
God damn you!
So, Kirioth, what's up, buddy? What are you doing here today?
Well, due to being heavily impacted, but I think the technical term is by the weeb. Bricky obviously not feeling. I feel like that's going to get me in trouble.
By the weeb. Huh?
Is that going to get me in trouble? It's fine. This time round, not in the walls. Instead, I approach from above, like a drop bear or something, jumping from some sort of aircraft and falling to the ground gently, purposefully, using some sort of parachute maybe, or a grav-chute.
Are grav-chutes real?
So we're going right deep into just starting it off right now, but like for unironic context, yes, I've returned from Anime Expo and I was very busy, so we got Kirioth to help with this episode, and that's why he's here. Anyway,
that's far
like
more informative than what I said, but sure.
Like a drop bear.
I haven't heard drop bear in the longest time. I think all of our Australian listeners just collectively did the head slap thing because they're just so sick and tired of the drop bear thing.
I don't blame them one bit.
The naked gun thing.
So DK, what could possibly be dropping from the sky utilizing a parachute and or grav-chute of sorts?
I don't know, a paratrooper or a drop pod?
What a fantastic thought process.
I mean, you technically not wrong. Technically, sort of. You close.
Okay.
Pretty close.
Do I keep guessing, or am I close enough that we're just going to do the episode?
I mean, yeah. I think you're probably close. Do we reckon that he'll have that level of in-depth knowledge of, say, guard regiments? Just as an example.
I don't think he has heard of this one. No, I don't think this is one that we have generally spoken of. He's heard of the new version of this guard regiment that they have been going with, but yeah, I think Games Workshop has forgotten about it as well. So,
ouch.
You know, at this point, I think we give him a pass.
Let's go. Check that off as a DK got it. Let's go.
Yeah, sure, that counts. I can't remember whether we covered some of the specifics in the guard vehicles videos or not. So we'll give you a point for paratroopers. We're going to talk about the Elysian Drop Troops, which is an Imperial Guard Regiment, and they are absolute legends. They are quality. The fact that their range is no longer available is, frankly, some sort of actual sin that they should be punished for. But you
do they even have a range?
Yeah, they had Forge World range.
Really?
All of their stuff was Forge World. Yep.
Of course it was Forge World.
Now it doesn't exist.
I unironically don't think I've seen any of their miniatures, even their Forge World ones.
I think that's because hardly anyone bought them. I think that's the main issue.
Oh God, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, for an old for an old unpainted mini, that is not the worst thing ever, right? Like, is it great?
Sure.
No, no, but it's serviceable.
Sure, but I must admit, it's I mean, honestly, Kirioth, you should get this. Like, it looks like a 3D seller. It looks like one of the side sellers. So that's the images that a lot of those third-party sellers like use for these things.
Yes,
you know?
Yeah, it does look 3D
it does have that sort of
something.
vibe. Yeah.
Damn.
Also,
okay.
that one picture of like the actual like jump pack thing it's got on. I am a fan of big stupid jump packs.
Oh, you're gonna love this then.
I am enjoying this already.
So,
okay.
All right, Kirioth. Because I've understood, I know of the Elysian Drop Troops. I know that people have a huge hard-on for them, kind of like how they have a huge hard-on for like Kastorel. Just because they like are specialist guard troops in a way. It's like, yeah, let's go. But I don't know much outside of just like the general equipment and gear, and that's why I was like, you know what, Bricky not knowing much about a guard regiment, we gotta fix this ASAP.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think what we're going to do, we'll go through kind of the gear they use, where they're recruited from, then we'll move into how they use it, and we'll follow that up with some excellent examples. So, funnily enough, you can probably guess that they come from the system of Elysia, because Elysia.
No.
Shocking.
You ruined the podcast.
As soon as I said that, I was like, oh no, Brick is going to be so mad at me for sarcastically.
He will kill us all.
Straight in with the sarcasm.
What do you expect from me? It's my air, man. It is my sustenance.
I expect you to be better.
Sarcasm is my lifeblood. Well, you know what? Now you know how my parents feel. Okay.
I expected more from you. Anyway, from Elysium. No, Elysia. Because we can't do Elysium here.
Oh no,
Legally
definitely
distinct Elysium.
Yeah, it's legally distinct, as is so much of 40K.
Yeah.
So it's about 30 light years from Armageddon. So there is an absolute hellhole right on the doorstep. So that's fun. And the system is it's known for being rife with pirates, with like orc warbands and stuff, with Armageddon being relatively close. That is quite an issue. They have something of a focus on certain types of warfare, which we'll get into after we've kind of gone through the gear that they use, and they pretty much all come from the Elysian Planetary Defense Force. So they do a full tour of duty in the PDF, and then once they've done that, they go on to be trained in the art of being a bunch of nutters, frankly. They are very different to a lot of the other Imperial Guard regiments because they have a fairly distinct lack of things like heavy armor. So like, Rogaldorns, Lehman Russes, just tanks in general. They don't do a huge amount of that because of their style of warfare. Instead, they focus on like fast-moving vehicles. They focus on getting in as quickly as possible. Hence the whole grav-chute thing, which is, I think, my favorite version of like, I guess like sci-fi parachute. It's one of those things that's kind of, I would suggest, needlessly complex for what it does. So pretty much all the Elysian, yeah, what a picture.
Oh wow. Hell yeah. Also, so
that's why they are, as you say, a bunch of nutters, because they do things like that. Adrenaline junkies, no doubt.
So with these, what are the jump packs? Grav something
the
or another?
Grav-chute. Basically parachute, but grav instead of para is literally how it's spelled. So.
But it feels like it's just a backpack that has a jump pack on it. And like, can they use that for more than just like landing and paragliding? Like, if they're on the ground with this thing, can they use that to just like fume and just like go like really quick and just like zoom into the battlefield? Or is it literally only for like the paratroop sci-fi landing aesthetic, and then they ditch the backpack? How's that work?
It's pretty much for the sci-fi aesthetic parachuting in. It can hover. So it can stay in place for a little while. It's about a minute that it can hover in place, but it can't do what like jump packs do. So when Spaceman's got jump packs, they can jump all over the battlefield. They can go from being on the ground to, however far away straight off the bat. With the Elysian Drop Troops, their grav-chute, it gets them on the ground, and then once they're on the ground, they are on the ground. They are staying there from that point on. So they basically dive face first through a load of anti-air fire, fire up the grav-chute at the last minute, land, and then hope that everything goes well, because they're down there now. They are down there, and they're in the middle of the fight.
So they're not using them to zoom around the battlefield like a Gundam or something.
No, that would be a little cool.
Powerful.
I will say there is a little bit of a how'd you put it? A contradiction in the lore online that I read for the Elysians, which is, it's kind of wacky that they decide to like, hey, yeah, when they land with their drop chutes, they actually hit the ground pretty hard because they're going at like terminal velocity or whatever, and because of that, like they need to learn how to roll and make sure they get through that. But then they also can like hover for a minute. So why the hell are they hitting the ground so hard?
Yeah, why are they slamming down at why are they doing the full superhero landing every time when they could probably get down a little bit more gently? Then again, my interpretation of that is just going off that picture. If we assume that the level of fire is that bad all the way down, do you want to hover? Do you want to stay in one place
true.
for
you probably just want to keep moving 24/7, never stop.
You've got to get down there. You stop for 10 seconds, you're going to get shot to pieces. I feel like that's probably the main reason for it. But then again, they also do a bit of covert stuff. They can drop behind enemy lines and stuff, because the whole point is that they can just get in there nice and quick. They're not weighed down by having a ton of slow marching infantry. They don't use things like basilisk emplacements and stuff. They aren't being followed by, like columns of armor. So at the same time, they could maybe manage that. I guess it depends mostly on the fight they're going into.
That's true. I mean, for the most part, it's just enter the fray and enter the fray really fast.
Yeah. Again, just keep moving. Because if you stop, you're dead.
It's so good.
I was kind of expecting them to be like the guard version of the Raptors with those backpacks. I want them to be like guard Raptors, just Still cool. I still like them, but yeah.
So yeah, they also have the drop canisters, as Shai's pointed out. So they're Helldivers-esque supply drops drop from orbit. And they refer to the canisters as coffins as their size and shape allow them to be used as improvised funerary caskets, which is great.
Okay. All right. Sure. I mean,
So
you
cool.
got to put them somewhere. Why not put them in the equipment cabinet
Stick
that
'em
looks
in the
like
thing.
a coffin? Yeah.
Stick them in the thing and then you
Sure.
can pick them up later.
There's no more
Jim
supplies
got,
in the drop pod, so stuff him in the crate. Yeah, sure.
Jim's head got like eaten by a helldrake on the way down. So after we have to get all the supplies out of here, and after that, let's just put him in, and we'll be done afterwards.
Oh no, we were gonna drop supplies, but I accidentally called in the 3080.
No,
Oh no, everybody's dead.
Everybody's dead. There's gigantic explosions everywhere. Mass hysteria.
Yep, all of our Elysian Drop Troops are dead, but somehow the enemy remains unaffected, as if not targeted by it. Anyway, what's
very specific? So very specific.
what else about the Elysian Drop Troopers, Kirioth?
They've got quality leadership. I can tell you that. They have a policy of leading from the front. So when it comes to company commanders and the like, they're not at the back giving out orders. No, they are going face first into the enemy. They'll drop with like special weapons and stuff. They will, the company commander, the actual leaders of these forces will be up front and getting in nice and close. I like that picture. However,
that's
it's
such
not
a cool
showing.
picture.
They have really cool las guns. The Elysian las gun it's like a bullpup style las gun as opposed to the standard. Which
Wait, what is the standard las gun? Because that just looks like a las gun to me.
So
standard one's got the clip in front of the trigger.
Yeah, a bullpup is where the magazine is placed behind the trigger, where a regular one is the magazine is placed in front of it. Like you know how. Even I shouldn't.
Well, the description you have given
played
me.
Counter-Strike, come on.
Yeah. No, I haven't.
Have you not? Okay, fair
No,
enough.
I hate military shooters.
Okay, that's regular. See, magazine in front of the trigger.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to loading from the back of the trigger.
What difference does that make?
It's more compact. So because they are dropping down and because they have relatively limited space, because they've all got to pile into Valkyries and Vendettas. The Vendetta is basically the Valkyrie, but it's got extra las guns / las cannons on it, because of course it has. They've got to have everything nice and compact. So the grav-chutes kind of fold away, the gun is smaller.
Okay.
All of that stuff.
I guess with the pictures I couldn't really tell like the scale, but yeah, I guess the bullpup one would be a little more compact, a little easier to like. If you need to stow like 9,000 of them, you'd rather have the bullpup one, right?
More so that, like, because you have the magazine loading from the back, that's also technically the stock. The weapon is just shorter in general. So it's like, because it's shorter, you can, like, move it around quicker. Like, you can, like, corners, it's that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I know literally nothing about guns.
This was one of those things where I thought you would know at least this. Like,
Now,
don't get me wrong, we're both from California. We don't know anything about guns.
I have literally never held a gun in my life.
I own a bullpup gun. I own a bullpup shotgun. Like it's not, it's
Yeah.
I don't know. If anything, I would have expected this. But all right, it's fine. It's fine. We accept the fruits of our labor.
Yeah, and now any listener that was like, "What the is a bullpup?" They also know. See, look at me. I'm doing God's work. You're welcome, listeners.
This is a Warhammer podcast. Everyone already loves their their firearms and their types of guns. They already know.
And they already know about the most famous 40k bullpup, which was Asriel's old gun.
God, I hate that.
What was it called? Lion's Wrath, which for some reason just ended up being an absolute mess of a weapon. And I can't really criticise about lack of knowledge when it comes to guns, because obviously being from the UK, there are no guns here. We threw them all in the sea. Even the military goes in armed only with pool cues stolen from pubs. We have nothing. So,
Okay,
God, you had to put a picture in.
I don't know. That looks kind of cool, though. Oh,
no!
Whoa!
No!
Oh no! What is going on with the back?
See?
Oh no!
Right?
What do you mean? It looks kind of cool.
No.
I posted the same image as I did. It's just larger.
Yeah, but once it got larger, you get like the designs on it look cool. The red looks great, and like I guess I wasn't really paying attention to the whatever the fuck is going on behind the in the back there with the
So the fact that the stuff in the magazine can't actually exit, as I put it in a video once, the pointy end.
Yeah,
like the bit that you point towards people to kill them. How does it get up there? Does it teleport? Is it magic? What happens?
Okay, I'm sorry, but like this is. I saw the first image, and then someone posted this, and
it looks like a big old dick. It looks like a big old dick gun.
So
it's still
the new
mildly more sensible.
They changed the Lion's Wrath with the new Asriel, and it loads from the side now, which is much nicer.
I love the wing aesthetic in the red though, and the skull. That's cool.
Stylistically cool.
If you just cut off the back end of it, I'd be okay with it. Cut that back part off.
Just
like
cut it
if
off.
I just cover that part with my hand, it's like, oh hey, that's a pretty cool looking gun, right? And then I move my hand, and it's like, SpaghettiOs.
Oh, waiter, it's time for your daily dose of Iron Warriors art.
This pic, you know what? I never get tired of how much you use this picture because it's so sick. So
it is.
If you were going to spam a picture, I'm glad it's this one because God, it's so good.
It's so funny. It's just every time we talk about cursed guns in 40K, I will always repost the picture of the Iron Warriors art because it's so good.
Fair enough.
Anyway, bullpup las guns, very compact, very very easily like good to have a smaller gun when you're dropping from the sky.
Sure. You don't want a big hefty gun when you're dropping.
You don't want to trip over it whilst you're doing your cool forward roll as you hit the floor at insane speeds. There's also ones with underslung like additions to it as well. So a little bit of like grenade launcher on the bottom there, which if anything is even cooler. The way they approach the battlefield, as I mentioned, they've got the Vendetta. They also use Valkyries as well, but they do need something to transport vehicles, which is where the Sky Talon comes in, which is basically a Valkyrie, but the like transport compartment's been taken off, and instead it's got 4 lifter arms that just clamp onto vehicles and hold onto them. That
thing looks so weird without the transport thing in it. That thing just looks so odd.
It's cool, but like it looks like emaciated. I don't know how else to put like a big chunk of it's just gone, so it looks really flimsy.
It looks like a Valkyrie that has definitely been underfed. For sure. I know I'm sure it is like a real thing because, you know, I just posted a picture of one. But like, yeah, it's, you know, it's so weird looking.
It reminds me, occasionally they had these in the old Clone Wars games for Star Wars, and they would drop like those 6-legged kind of like beetle-looking walkers from the clone troopers, and I always remembered those because it was like the gunships, but they looked all hollowed out, and I'm like, that's weird. When it's carrying something, it looks normal, but when it's dropped, it's like, oh, what the heck?
Yeah, what happened to you?
Yeah. So they have those two to carry in the troops and any vehicles that they take with them, which we'll get to in a moment. And because everything has to be on a theme, obviously, if we're doing airborne assaults, then you need something to protect those carriers as they go in. So they also make use of the Vulture gunship, which is amazing.
I love that.
If I turn around, there's one on my shelf behind me, and I never get bored of looking at it because it's just awesome. It's quality. It's so good.
Giant turbine behind the drivers. Never gets old.
It looks so cool though. Oh my god! Why don't they? Is this a pretty popular gunship?
Well, it's
So
Forge
cool.
World again, so it's
Oh,
Legends, so the
no.
rules never get updated.
Damn it! Why
Look,
is everything cool in Forge World?
Here's the rule: if you look at it and you go, "That's badass," what does that do? The
Forge
chances
World.
are it's from Forge World and it's terrible on the tabletop, and you can't use it for tournaments. That's 9 times out of 10 just how that works. I'm afraid, especially with guard vehicles. Guard vehicles, especially, terrible for that. Where you see something and you go, "That is incredible," and then you find out that it costs £150 and it's borderline unusable, and also is probably a nightmare to put together, like the Vulture was. Just throwing that out there. Terrible model to put together. But, oh god, remember when they did tests of 40k air vehicles and the Valkyrie has a negative lift?
Well,
Wait, does that mean it's too heavy or what?
I think it just permanently goes down. Like, it just can't
It
do
can't
anything.
function.
Yeah.
well, I mean, looking at it, how would it?
I mean, yeah, the Valkyrie is in fact a very dumb vehicle, but it's fun. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it looks
Basically
cool,
a
so-
box on wings, like all other Imperial aircraft.
yeah, let's not talk shit on box on wings. All right, I love my box on wings. Half of
mean,
the
is
40k is box on wings.
Which box on wings? We don't know. That describes all of them. So-
I was gonna say in the Imperium, your airplanes are boxes on wings. Your tanks are boxes on treads. Your dreadnoughts are just dead boxes. Everything is boxes, right?
It's the way to go. Sometimes you just got to take a box, put it on some form of locomotion, and then throw it into battle. That's the attitude they had. When Arkan Land designed the Land Raider or whatever, I know he didn't design it, he found the STC, whatever.
Land Raider. Yep.
It's just worth bringing him up for that.
Hell yeah.
Every time.
Hell yeah.
No, I mean,
So,
outside of those, the obvious. I actually have like 3 Valkyries. I love the look of the Valkyrie plane. It might be like one of my favorite guard vehicles. It just, I don't know, it just looks so menacing the way it kind of aims itself downwards and all that jazz.
yeah, it does.
But I really, it's fun too because for the most part it was just like, what do I use the Valkyrie for? Well, you fly it up into your opponent's face, drop a bunch of crap from it, and then blow everyone to bits, and then the Valkyrie will fly away and do something else later. And it's like, my Valkyrie.
Doing God's work.
It's a great vehicle. I love them. It's one of those designs as well that just doesn't really get old, even though it is basically a box with wings. It's just got that sort of cool factor about it. So with the Sky Talon, the skeletal one that drops off vehicles, what it tends to drop off that is the Taurus and the Taurus Venator. Now, Elysians don't go like heavy on tanks and stuff because of needing to get around nice and quick. So they have these cool but slightly weird buggies that have a gunner on top. There's a 4-wheel and a 6-wheel variant. The ones that Shy posted are new ones. You can actually get them in plastic now. But you can get them in plastic, but not for the Imperial Guard. You get them in plastic for the Palatine Enforcers for Necromunda. They just brought back that vehicle and went, it's for a different system now. Off you go. So yeah, there's the 6-wheeled and the 4-wheeled variant, and the Sky Talon comes in, drops down one of those onto the ground, and then it speeds through the battlefield, melting, shooting, lasgunning people.
I mean, that's a cool attack buggy. I like that quite a bit. Although, as soon as I saw it, I don't know if it's just because Shy had just mentioned orc planes working fine despite, their wacky design. Because I was like, these would make great. Like, if you're an orc player and you wanted to kit bash some kind of vehicle, this seems like it'd be a great base to start with and just like ruin it and like orcify the hell out of it. That seems like a great base to start with.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've got quite like Mad Max sort of vibes to them, which is always a good starting point for any orc vehicle.
Insert Nod Raider, Command and Conquer 3, my beloveds.
I was gonna say that's a cool looking
see it.
thing. I was like, I don't know what it's from because I haven't played Command and Conquer, but it looks great.
it just makes me think of that kind of stuff. It is very Mad Maxy, though. You're right. Did any of you see Furiosa?
Not
I
yet.
watched it 2 days ago.
Nothing will ever beat Mad Max Fury Road because it's like the best movie ever made.
Agreed. Sure.
It was really, really good. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
That's
I had heard a lot of people say that it was kind of mid, but I was like, is it mid because you're comparing it to Mad Max? Or is it like mid because you like, So, good to hear.
I very much liked it. I thought it was very good. And it's like, yeah, you're not going to beat Fury Road, but it's really good. And yeah, there's a couple like buggies like that in the Curiosity. Did you get a giggle when they were like one of those little sub factions? It's called the Mortifiers. And I was like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked that they actually did something with. This is going to show a level of obsession that's probably not healthy, but they were going to put flyers in Fury Road, but then they didn't feel like it fit, and so they ditched that, and then they end up reusing it for Furiosa, and so having like the Octobus with his big like
dude, the giant
thing.
octopus fucking like plane,
so cool.
It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I loved it. It's
Loved
so
it so
Octopus
much.
plane?
Just watch the movie, dude.
Well, I will when it comes out. I don't go to movie theaters much anymore.
Oh, it's
I think
out.
it's streaming now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, I bought it on YouTube and just like watched it.
Oh, okay. Well, I will do that in the relative near future. By the time this episode airs, I'll probably have watched it.
Very, very fun film. But yeah, the buggies definitely do have that kind of Mad Max vibe. Not as decrepit, but you could easily make it that way. You really orcify it, like you said.
Oh yeah,
100%.
definitely.
So the turrets on the back of them, you've got things like autocannons, heavy bolters, grenade launchers, heavy flamers. The ones that the Paladin Enforcers have got like concussion cannons on them because they're more like sort of crowd control-y. But again, they just dropped down, chucked on the floor, and then they go speeding around, kind of harrying the flanks and encircling, and they're really cool. They're just awesome vehicles. And again, I was really sad when I went to look for them a while ago and realised that they stopped making them I don't know how many years ago, because they're classic. But they are now in plastic, so that's like a rare happy ending for something that disappears off Forge World for years at a time. To suddenly come back is kind of rare, but we did get it. So
Life in plastic is fantastic.
That is.
Shut up.
I feel so.
Minus 2.
What did I do? I'm
Don't
just
like
saying it is fantastic.
Minus 2.
I don't think you can brush its hair though.
The other thing that they use.
Moving on.
So, they also have a good line in Sentinels. Again, you need something fast, maneuverable. So they have their own Sentinel, which is the Drop Sentinel.
Oh,
Which is basically a Sentinel, but it has its own grav-chute system. So it gets dumped down and then it lands and starts melting people real good. It's kind of stripped down. It's not as tall. It's not got quite as much armor and stuff. It looks awesome.
I love it.
And they have a support Sentinel, which is basically just a Sentinel, but with a heavy weapon attached. Because if you haven't got a bunch of tanks, you still need to carry like heavy weaponry here and there. So that is that's kind of their heavy version. And yes, I do have the chemical assault one. Hang on, let me find it. Which
I do love a good chicken walker though. I love me. Ooh, what the f- is that?
The chicken walker, as you said.
I love it. I love a good chicken walker.
yeah, it's your classic chemical assault pattern Sentinel used by
Oh
Trader
hell
Guard.
yeah!
Then they have chemical rockets attached to them that like fire flesh melting, skin burning chemicals out of them.
As you do in 40K if you're a chemical assault whatever.
Yeah, it looks
very
great.
very
It's
normal
also
arsenal
horrific.
for the armies of well, not even the armies of for anything. You know, Imperium loyalists probably have chemical assault weapons too, right? Sure, it's a normal 40K thing to have weaponry that melts your skin.
I mean, it's for you've got to have at least one of that in every army, surely. At least
Sure.
one thing that is borderline a war crime. That's just standard fare, isn't it?
Whoa,
Let's not talk
borderline?
about... Yeah, but I was saying, let's not talk borderline here.
We
Let's,
need full
say
throttle
maybe-
war crimes.
maybe
It's
not borderline.
Brother, it's only a war crime if you lose.
I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that border line and then skip rope with it.
We are so past the... You can't even see the line. The line is a dot on the horizon.
Oh no, what's that from? I can't remember what that... Okay, let's...
Oh, you know what that's from? You got the reference?
I got the reference, I just can't remember what it's...
It's from an episode of Friends where Chandler cheats on... Where Chandler
It is
cheats on
Friends.
Joey's girlfriend.
Yep, okay. I can now hear it.
Oh my God.
I can now hear it in... Yeah.
Yes, Kirioth, it's so nice to have someone that is my age group, unlike this child Bricky.
I can't believe I'm here helping lead a geriatric home.
Whoa! Ooh,
I cry.
I mean,
he
not
doesn't.
wrong,
He
though, is he?
he hasn't watched Friends, Kirioth. Can you believe that?
I was very heavily recommended to watch Nathan For You over this weekend. So that's going to be my
For You.
I
What?
don't
that's
even know
going
what
to
that
be
is.
that's going to be my next, well, if it's good, fixation.
What the hell is Nathan For You?
It's a TV show. What do you want me to describe it
Is it
as?
really? Yeah, Kirioth. What's the next thing?
Okay. Also, they use things like sentry guns and the Cyclops demolition vehicle. Chuck that in quickly as well, because any excuse to mention the Cyclops, because obviously the Cyclops is class, and they also drop these like the tarantula turrets they're called. They also drop those down because they're lightweight and they just become a little emplacement. And I just wanted to talk about the Cyclops because it's so cute. It's so cute and it's so cool. And you can fit them in the Valkyrie and then chuck it out the back, go and explode someone.
I love
alright.
the Cyclops demolition vehicle. It's utilized very often, or it was utilized very often, and you would just roll it up to something. It's just a big suicide bomb. That's all it really is. Like I love that image so much. I love
Just the little one coming out. Even I've seen that
my
one.
son. Get in there,
Deploy
kid.
Mini Me.
And then Mini Me drives up at 30 miles an hour and just blows up. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that thing. It was actually utilized a lot in the tabletop because they would just like put it in corners to deny deep strike and crap. But sometimes when they don't need it anymore, they just roll it up and like, all right, go boom. It's lovely.
Gotta be one of the best pictures to ever come out of Games Workshop, that. It's so good.
I really like the Tarantula Sentry. It's actually kind of sad how crappy they are. And also the fact that like that and the Cyclops demolition vehicle will not last much longer. Like they're
going to be gone. Like so much of the other stuff that Forge World makes, it's just a slow kind of things just drop out of the ranges constantly, and I can't see them being around all that much longer. It's one of those things where they don't give them rules, so people don't play them, especially not competitive, because you can't use legend stuff in competitive. And then because people don't play them, they don't buy them, and so they stop making them. But it's like if you gave them rules and supported them, more people would buy the thing rather than no one buying the thing. But that's probably an entire...
You're talking crazy, Kirioth. You're talking crazy, brother. I don't know. That doesn't...
Old men shout at clouds episode right there.
We'll do the GW business practice episode, and we'll all just like violently cry.
Violent, yeah. Isn't GW's business practice like, oh no, we need more money. What do? Release more Ultramarines, or I guess just Space Marines in general, right?
It's not like wrong, but maybe it's a bit incomplete of a definition. But I get what you're getting at.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's just like, why did you create these plastic heresy era tanks and things, and then give them a couple rules and then remove them like in intent? And it's wild. Anyway,
because it says heresy on the box, and people will get confused.
I can't.
They won't know that you can use them in two things if it doesn't say the thing on the box or something.
Points at chaos demons.
Yeah. Yeah, let's not. No, don't mention that because they'll take him out of the system. And AOS doesn't need to lose demons because they still are kind of integral to a lot of the factions. Don't point it out. If we don't mention it, they won't notice. Quick. Okay, so you've got a rough idea, right? How the Elysians operate. They fly in, they jump out, they drop a bunch of vehicles. The vehicles harry the flanks. They've got some cool Sentinels, and they also have excellent escort craft in the form of the Vultures. Once they're on the ground, it's a case of hoping that initial strike really works super well to demoralize and or destroy the enemy, because prolonged fighting is not necessarily great, because they don't have that sort of heavy support element that a lot of the other Imperial Guard regiments have. So, why don't we go through some examples of the Elysian Drop Troops in action with some stuff what Shy has collected for us to take a look at. Terrible intro. That's
I don't know. That was fine. That was about on par for us. It's Shy time. Whoa.
Kirioth, I must admit, you're. It's not like you don't have an accent, but hearing like stuff what Shy, like the what thing. I
wasn't gonna say it. I'm glad you brought it.
Okay, I always hear it because I always hear like the orcs say that. It's like all them gets what them humans or them humies do it, and it's just like it's all thing. Anyway,
that's fair. It's totally fair.
So here's what's here. I'm gonna read this first mini paragraph, and DK read the big one.
Okay.
Welcome to Shy's segment. Put in butt plugs because we're going to start shitting ourselves when we realize it's 20,000 characters long. First of all, we obviously need to include this into the episode. You see, Elysians have more in common with Helldivers than very quickly falling off. They do have a literal regiment called Helldivers, mostly known for dying a lot.
Well, they are Helldivers. 13th Elysian Helldivers have gained something of a heroic reputation amongst the regiments of the Spinward Front, emerged from seemingly impossible odds on multiple occasions, dubbed the Helldivers for their tendency to descend upon the enemy from above and leave destruction in their wake. The Elysian 13 are the subject of overblown tales and flights of fancy amongst the masses. The Departamento Munitorium has only encouraged this tendency, reporting whenever possible the victories of the 13th publicly, along with those of the other Imperial Guard regiments whose exploits will bolster morale. The truth is, as always, somewhere between Emperor's cheeks. Colonel Johann von Meer, the regiment's commander, is daring, optimistic, courageous, and more than a little vainglorious. Her fervor for the glory of battle has seen the Elysian 13th deployed to the deadliest of conflicts and the most casualties over the years. And only, I fucked that up. The deadliest conflict, the most challenging of missions, succeeding at any cost and to great acclaim. The Helldivers have suffered great casualties over the year, and only a handful of companies of their original 10,000 warriors still remain, though each is a veteran of many battles. As they say, most of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
You know, I like Helldivers. It's
a cold motivational speech at the end there, isn't it?
Most of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make. Yep.
Starting to wonder.
And very Imperium.
I was starting to wonder how cold it might be in comparison. Ooh, this one's going to tickle Bricky. All right.
Ew.
Sina Sikava was first conscripted into the Elysian Drop Troops during the invasion of Elysia after the formation of the Great Rift. He fought in airborne operations on Kappa 6
Gold
against
Kappa.
Chaos Space Marines, being one of the only 60 troopers who successfully reached their landing zone alive. With his company in disarray and its officers all dead, Sikava organized a defense that fended off waves of cultist attackers. When reinforcements arrived, they discovered the wounded Sikava and his troopers surrounded by a pile of dead enemies. He went on to serve in battle after battle, fighting orcs. At one point, he used a sniper rifle of a fallen comrade to put down an Eldar Farseer, and so on. Don't make the joke, DK. But the reality
I didn't
was,
say anything!
Even during his first glorious victory, some people noticed that Adeptus Custodes had descended on Elysia to shatter the traitors and save Sina's life. Speculations to any connection were quickly stifled when a group of Custodian Guard abruptly attached themselves to battle group where he served. The Golden Warriors were seen fighting along at least 3 war zones, never straying far from Sakaiva's platoon, but also never fighting alongside them. Ultimately, seen as Sakava fell defending the Shrine Fort against heretic forces. Whatever interest the Custodians had in Sakava was never discovered, but they were never seen in Battle Group Coruscant again. In fact, 2 days after his death, they redeployed, leaving as abruptly as they had arrived. I like
That's
the
weird.
No, that's about right. The Aquilin shield.
Although actually, hang on. In fact, 2 days before his death, not even after, they left before he got wasted.
So one of the interesting things that you read about the Aquilin shield and the Custodians is that the special individual they go to defend often is one who is going to be of great renown. And because, Custodians are, I don't know, somehow they know everything or whatever it is. So very, very often they get whatever needs to be done, and then they leave. And normally the person they're defending dies immediately afterwards because they've already done what they need to do.
Yeah.
It's good. It's
So
good.
they just show up, they help a legend, and then they go, right, and we're finished. Off we go.
Does he know? He knows.
They knew. He knows.
He knows.
He knows. I guess I'll read this one. The Scopios incident. Scopios was a small planet.
Wait. What about Kirioth? He needs to read some things.
Oh, Kirioth, you want to read this one?
I just reclined in my chair. I was like, okay, here we go.
No,
Story
read this
time in a
one.
second. Let's go.
Unrecline. Get back up, old
All right,
man,
fine.
and read
Yeah.
this.
Get back in there.
Oh, my back. Okay, so now I'm in my head about pronouncing things. The Scopios incident. The Scopios. No, these guys. What happened? Help.
Oh, man, maybe I
This
should have
is-
read this one.
Yeah, well, it's falling apart. Okay,
Maybe we should have just let the old man recline.
I passed out immediately. It happens when you get to this age. Scorpios was a small planetoid in interstellar space, approximately 1 week's warp travel from Elysia, used by the Adeptus Mechanicus as a containment facility for dangerous experimentation. Sounds promising. In 873 M38, an alien space hulk was discovered by the explorator ship, the Incalculus Stella, and towed to the Scorpius facility, which sounds like a fun and safe thing to do. When a routine patrol by the Imperial Navy reported shockingly that they lost contact with the Scorpius base, the 22nd Elysian Drop Troops Regiment was sent to investigate. Upon arrival, the commander of the 22nd, Colonel Prinz, deployed several recon companies along with naval observers to go aboard and examine the facility. At first, it seemed deserted, but as the recon teams penetrated deeper into the facilities, fighting broke out. But each time the enemy skirmished and retreated, giving Prinz no clear picture of the nature of the threat he and his men faced. Captain Schultz of the 3rd Recon Company called in the first real intelligence. The automated production facilities of the base had been transformed beyond recognition by agents unknown and were now manufacturing skeletal metal warriors. Oh boy. Colonel Prinz, responding to warnings from the fleet astropaths, ordered the drop of his entire regiment onto Scopius with the orders to cleanse and burn the facility, which was promptly destroyed and marked as forbidden. Moral of the story, Adeptus Mechanicus should take their fingers out of Necron shit and stick to praying to washing machines.
Yeah, probably. That's
I think they made the right call. I think that was the way to go. Get rid of it.
Stick to praying to washing machines, huh?
Yeah,
Of all the
lighting
phrases.
incense candles, I mean, true. Like, I figured Shai would have been like, "Oh, they should stick to fucking toasters or something," because AdMech and such.
I mean,
Praying
that
to
is
washing
also-
machines was fairly tame for Shai, actually.
I mean, that is also a thing they may be doing.
Yeah, I
Why
guess they
not
could be
both?
doing, but yeah,
Maybe one is a form of prayer for the other.
Why?
Don't know.
Why only stick your dick in the toaster when you can also stick it in the washing machine?
Oh, this is a long one. Holy.
Oh,
All right.
boy.
You know what? I want to take this one. I'm feeling my second wind.
Hey, let's go. Hit it.
All right. The raid on Kastorel-Novem. Novem? No, whatever. Here's the example of Raven Guard doing the opposite of the Death Spectres, quote, let them all die thing, and proving them right. In 952.M41, Garak had invaded the Kastorel-Novem sector and transformed its capital, Kastorel-Novem, very imaginative, into the Orc base of operations and manufacturing by enslaving the local population. Garak, whatever, had much bigger ambitions, however, and in 988M41 began assaulting the Forsar sector backed by newly built heavy weapons, Stompas and Gargants. Determined to stop Garak with a surgical strike on his base of Kastorel-Novem before he could cause any more damage, the Imperium deployed elements from 4 companies of the Raven Guard under Shadow Captain Corvday, while the Departamento Munitorum provided the 181st, I guess, Elysian Drop Troop Regiment of the Imperial Guard.
Because we always stick together. It's Drop Troop. Best of friends forever. Anyway, go ahead.
That is, how old are you?
Hey.
We've established that, 50% of
how about
this
all,
episode is old people. We know this, all right?
Hey, how about we all just shut the hell up and keep reading this thing that Shai so lovingly crafted, all right?
We can all watch an episode of Friends after this.
Let's not talk about how old I am. Let's just keep reading this finely crafted story by Shai.
To draw the attention of the Orcs and allow Raven Guard to continue their brutal struggle against relentlessly resisting kerosene containers, the 181st Elysian Drop Troop Regiment launched an airborne assault on the Greenskin Gargant construction yards, engaging in a pitched but ultimately doomed battle against superior numbers. However, Raven Guard Captain Corvday provided reluctant to send the guardsmen to their deaths and abandoned his goal, and led his forces against the Orcs attacking the Elysians. I guess Corvidae, whatever.
Corvidae's fine.
Sure, yeah.
Corvidae succeeded in holding back the Orcs long enough for the Elysians to withdraw. However, Corvidae's novel actions turned out very dumb, because surviving gasoline barrels got used to fuel really big Orc mechas, which started kicking Hume ass. Soon, Orc Stompas overran the Elysian and Raven Guard positions. Attempting to evacuate both the Raven Guard and Imperial Guard forces, Corvday launched a diversionary attack against the Orc Stompas and Death Dreads to try and buy time for the retreat. Like the dumbass he is, Corvday was stranded on the field of battle after his Land Raider was destroyed by Orc fire before being rescued by Thunderhawks. The surviving Elysian troops then withdrew via Valkyries with the remaining Raven Guard. Though they had managed to survive total annihilation, the Imperial raid had been a failure. Roughly 70 Raven Guard and 2,500 Elysian Drop Troops had lost their lives in the botched raid. Worse still, much of the Imperial heavy weaponry could not be evacuated in time and was left behind to be looted by the Orcs. For his failures during the raid, Corvday served 2 years in the Death Watch. Raven Guard 0, Orc Fuel Barrels 1.
Yikes.
That's
rough.
That is bad.
That is a bit of a failure. Yeah, that's yikes. Yeesh. Cool.
What a time, these folks. What people they are.
Yeah.
All I'm learning is that the drop troops have a great time no matter who's around them. They always come out on top.
If you fail, you can be forced to serve in the Death Watch as a Space Marine. I thought the Death Watch was something that you chose to be a part of because you hate Xenos.
I'm pretty positive he served 2 years in the Death Watch as a penance, his own personal penance.
Oh, so he was okay. I thought by the way that sounded like they made him do it, and I was like, wait a minute, isn't that something you gotta choose to do? Isn't that something you're selected
it'll
for?
be I accidentally got a bunch of people killed and did a terrible job. If you need me, I'll be over here until people forget about it kind of situation.
Right, okay. Yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll be in the Death Watch and I'll go kill a bunch of Orc to make up for my failings against the Orcs. Okay, cool.
All right. Let's see here. DK, you're up next.
Oh, wow. That is a bit of a wall of text. Elysian Drop Troops participated in Taros campaign. Prior to the campaign, Planetary Governor Aulus, head of the Taros government, deployed friendly trading relations with the Tau and sought to defect to the Tau Empire with the support of much of the planetary population. Probably because working in a shit processing facility 20 hours a day at Commissar's gunpoint eventually gets old. When his treachery was unveiled, the Avenging Sun Space Marines were called upon to assassinate Governor Aulus in what was to be the first Taros intervention. Taros called upon Taros Intervention Force descended on planet and valiantly failed the assignment after suffering tremendous losses, including over half of their Terminator contingent and one dreadnought, all capitals LOL. Following the battle, the Tau officially annexed Taros while the Imperium decided on a full-scale invasion to rectify the situation. After 42 days of war, supply shortages, and Tau raiding had stalled the offensive, a new Imperial plan was agreed upon, utilizing Elysian Drop Troops to seize Taros hydro farms and controlling the planet's water supply. Dubbed Operation Comet, such a Gundam name, it was a daring plan fraught with dangers that involved striking deep behind Tau lines. The Elysians and stormtroopers were dropped from Valkyries to assault Hydro Processing Plant 23 through 30. Seeing that shit coming a mile away, Tau bombarded the poor bastards by tiger sharks, hammerheads, and devilfish. On the third day of fighting, the Imperial Navy was too bogged down with Tau air elements to assist, and the Xenos closed in to finish the job and retake the plant. After the Imperial Colonel Balach refused a Tau request of surrender, the Elysians were annihilated, probably while thanking their boss for not asking their opinion on this development. Elysian General Skikava was actually captured by the Tau, the highest-ranking Imperial official taken in the war. Skikava flatly refused the offer of the ethereal Enver to join with the Tau Empire because that worked out great for the other guy. Why not go for the double down? General Sakava organized a prisoner uprising at a Tau POW camp manned by human collaborators. Sakava and several men managed to escape, attempting a harsh trek through the desert to reach Imperial lines. As he succumbed to thirst and fell unconscious, he was recovered by Imperial patrols. Sakava told the Imperials of the ethereal he had met, and not knowing of the Tau Supreme headquarters, a new plan was devised, Operation Death Blow. And blow it did. Targeting the Tau Ethereal in an attempt to decapitate the Xenos hierarchy, the Imperials deployed a member of the Officio Assassinorum's Eversor Temple. While Valkyrie-born Elysians assaulted the rest of the headquarters, the Berserker Assassin managed to self-destruct inside the Tau Command Bunker, killing Ethereal Enver. But the plan failed. Enraged by the loss of their leader, Tau officers rallied the surviving Tau as their reinforcements arrived and wiped out the Elysians, who fought to the bitter end. Elysians refusing to surrender did nothing to improve Tau's mood, and they began an offensive that targeted the falling back Imperial Guard. The evacuation became chaos, with troops fighting for any available transport space as Commissar and stormtroopers tried to keep order. With the Imperials having abandoned Taros, the planet was renamed Tros by the Tau and converted the planet into a mining station. We do love a good happy ending.
Absolute catalogue of failures from start to finish, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, man.
Absolutely terrible.
Sheesh. Not a whole lot goes right for these poor Elysians. Like, they get sent into some really, situations.
Yeah, they do. I feel like they don't have a good time.
No,
to be honest,
no,
they
I
don't
would not
have a great time.
After seeing all these stories, I'm like, I wouldn't want to be one, because chances are I'm going to be sent into a no-win situation where my commanders are absolute idiots and get me killed or taken prisoner.
You plummet out of a Valkyrie, then you go through a bunch of anti-air fire. You survive long enough to slam into the floor. You stand up, and an incompetent officer gets all of you murdered. Great. Just a standard day as an Elysian troop.
God, I love the Imperial Guard. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother.
Apparently this one's for you, Kirioth.
Okay, the Cacophony of Extremis 6. The Cacophony of Extremis 6 began when the Emperor's children and the riotous host traitor Titan Legion. God,
what a name! The riotous host traitor Titan Legion.
It really took me by surprise. The riotous host traitor Titan Legion invaded the populous Imperium world Extremis 6 during the 13th Black Crusade. Under the orders of Lucius the Eternal, the riotous host used their sonic weaponry to level Extremis 6's numerous star scrapers, which caused the death of billions. Welcome to Extremis
Welcome to
6.
40k.
Yeah. Once word of the devastating invasion reached the Imperium, the 352nd Elysian Drop Troops, along with the Tempesta Scion formations of the 12th Thetoid Condors. I know everything in 40k is made up, but that just sounds
Weird,
especially made up. And the 1st Zetic Harriers arrived on Extremis 6 to enact vengeance on the traitors. However, in the battle that followed, the regiments were completely destroyed by the forces of Slaanesh, which were greatly aided by a giant snake-bodied demon that easily killed any Astra Militarum guardsman that crossed its path. I wonder who that was.
Well, I guess it's just going to remain a mystery because you didn't spell it out for me. I have no idea who that could be.
Also, I can't imagine who this possibly be because there's a good chance they don't have a model yet.
That too. You're right.
I just want to point out, the riotous host, Traitor, Titan, Legion, they were part of the invasion, and the response was, okay, but what if we throw a bunch of guys out of planes at it? Now, I'm not a military expert, right? I feel like there's other choices out there that might have been more sensible, but that's just me. That's just me, okay?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, you're not wrong. That being said, I'd like to utilize a prior Imperial Guard strategy and imagine the general that's giving these orders. I imagine. Can you truly tell me that this general has not needed to do anything else besides throw men in planes at stuff? Like, he's got a lot of men in planes.
That's true. That's the whole point of the guard is just throw insanely ridiculous numbers of guard at the problem, and eventually it'll be solved, right?
Yeah, and we did literally read earlier, as most of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Like, yeah.
All right, this one I'll round us out. The battle for Elysia. Sometime after the Great Rift's creation, Elysia was invaded by a large force of Chaos Space Marines. In order to prevent the invaders from becoming a threat to Terra, the Adeptus custodians, Captain General Trajan Valoris,
the man,
has led the fury of Terra's shield hosts to do battle against the traitors. The preceding war saw the forces of Chaos defeat him and Elysia saved. For once, Elysians didn't all die, which genuinely shocked me because clearly God, Games Workshop, or both hate them very much.
Yeah, wow, they succeeded. That's amazing.
The real happy ending for the Elysians. They didn't lose.
Hooray, we saved our home world. Hooray.
It's the best they've ever done.
Yeah. We're keeping our heads above water. Hooray.
You know, I'm thinking back to this right now. I'm like, do you remember the old saying, just like, how many tigers can we ascend to attack the sun?
No, actually.
What?
I've never heard that. I've never heard that saying before.
I'm afraid I'm
not even being like sarcastic. I've just genuinely never heard that one.
There's an old joke, an old internet meme, which is like 1 trillion lions versus the sun. Who would win? And it's like, well, I mean, and then the joke normally goes like, I mean, that's a lot of lions though, right?
It's a lot of lions, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But the sun would win, obviously.
Well, what if the lions attacked at night?
It's still the sun. The sun.
You're not.
That really is an internet meme, isn't it? Oh my god, that really is an internet meme, isn't it?
You're not getting the brain rot in, but I'm just thinking to myself, like, who would win, right? Fulgrim, or how many men in planes do we need to take out
Fulgrim? Because eventually, if you had enough guard, you could probably do it. Like, if you had an infinite number of guard, you probably could eventually take Fulgrim.
I mean, basically, they do have a borderline infinite number of guards. So,
how many are you willing to sacrifice trying to take out Fulgrim, though? Right?
Okay. Yes, excellent
3
child.
octillion tiger.
Perfect. 3 octillion tigers is how many tigers we need to defeat the sun.
All right, well,
okay. You can't just,
we've answered
you've
the
got
question.
you've got to give the working out as well. Like, you can't just skip to 3 octillion tigers. There's
All right.
actual works going into this.
Well, we will do. I'll read Shy's math for you. All right.
This is the last Elysian Drop Trooper story.
Oh yeah, this is completely relevant to the Droop Troops that always stick together. The sun's mass is 1.989 E30 kg. I'm American. I don't know. Let's round that up to 2 E30. 1/4 of that is 5 E29. Adult male tigers range from 90 to 310 kilograms, midpoint 200. Adult female tigers range from 65 to 170 kilograms, midpoint about 117.5. Assuming roughly even numbers of male tigers and female tigers, this puts the overall average mass of a tiger at somewhere around 158 kg, give or take. We round up the sun earlier, so I'm not going to round up the tiger now to 166.666, which is exactly 1/3 of 500. So, 3 E27 tigers, 3 octillion tigers, bada boom, bada bing. That's how many tigers you need to beat the sun.
Hey,
Perfect.
Mama Nakia.
Hey, my
Perfect.
Manakia. Thanks, Shy, for that lovely math lesson. Do we have any other Elysian stuff to talk about? Or any other stories? Or what? Oh, Shy has one more.
I was going to say it feels like that tiger has sailed, but we do have one more. So
Oh, shut the fuck up, Kiriath. That was so bad.
it was.
It was
Even as
pretty-
I was saying it, I was like, I have no conviction for this one. Like,
It
it's
was-
so much of a reach. I lost confidence halfway through.
I got it. I wasn't happy about it, but I got it.
Yeah, minus 3 octillion tigers for sure, yeah.
Oh, you've upped it. It was only -2. What?
Well, you gotta stay relevant. Your
Fair.
disappointment encompasses the sun.
Oh, thanks, Dad. Okay.
No
so,
problem.
No,
I'm going to get some milk
997
now.
God damn it, let him
Hot
read a
milk
thing,
before
DK.
bed.
Sorry!
997 M41. Elysian and Harakoni regiments were sent to investigate the Antaro system after all contact is lost. Reports indicated the presence of the Space Hulk Agony of the Damned. None returned. Stop fucking touching these things. Why would you even just leave it? Just turn round. Like, what Space Hulk is this? Oh, this is Agony of the Damned. Okay, well, I'm going home. Do you want to come with me, or are you gonna stay where you are? Like, what a
Well,
name.
it's the Imperium, though, right? If they
How many
turn
tigers
tail,
can you fit in that?
Yeah, how many tigers?
Yeah, what's
can
the
you fit in that
size? What's the
Space Hulk?
size of the Space Hulk Agony of the Damned? Like, can we
Yeah.
see how many tigers we can genuinely just like shove in there?
Yeah, how many? Should I do the math, please?
Ooh,
How many
wait,
tigers will
And
fit in
can
that
that number of
Space Hulk
tigers
Agony
kill
of the Damned?
Fulgrim?
Even better question though. Well, okay, actually, you know what's a little? You know what? I take offense to this. Agony of the Damned is absolutely an Imperial ship name. Like
Yeah.
the Agony of the Damned, like yeah, against the Damned. Like it's very clearly also Imperial coded in a way.
Okay,
Yeah,
maybe
I
a little
can
bit.
see it.
Now, if it
I
was
can see
Imperium
it.
coded, it would have to be like the Emperor's Righteous Fury or something, right?
I mean,
Then again, Imperium also has, a faction, like a chapter of Space Marines called the Flesh Tearers, which, frankly, you've never heard a more chaos name in your life, but...
Yeah, if you,
know.
were like, this episode is about the Flesh Tears, Chaos or Loyalist, I would immediately be like, obviously Chaos. Nope.
It's and the children of the Emperor, or the Emperor's children even, they're not they're not loyalists. So
For the
could go either way.
Emperor.
Could go either way.
how many octillion tigers can we fit in a loyalist legion? You know,
Yeah. I love it. Any more? Have we reached the pinnacle of the Elysian Drop Troops?
I think we have. It went very tiger heavy at the end there, but I think it was valuable information all the way round.
Oh yeah,
So-
we all. My life has been thoroughly enriched, not by the Droop Troop, but knowing how many tigers I need to conquer the sun. Love it.
Right, let's mount up and ride out.
that's a lot
On
that's a lot of
tigers.
tigers though. Like
Yeah, Broncos country. Let's ride.
That's a lot of tigers, though. Like
that is so
goddamn.
many tigers.
That's so many tigers. I mean,
I'm like, you can't
many-
even
all right.
fathom like 1 octillion. Like,
All
it
right,
is
how
an unfathomable
many-
number.
how many men in planes do we need to kill 3 octillion tigers? better question. All right, Kirioth, you're standing there, right? You're standing there. Now an 8-year-old spawns in front of you, and you need to beat them unconscious. And when you do, you get a 30-second rest before another 8-year-old spawns. How many 8-year-olds do you think you can beat down before they finally overwhelm you and overpower you?
What the are you talking about?
What, do you think you could beat 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
How many tigers do I have access to take
You
on
have
the
3
8-year-olds?
octillion tigers to attack the 8-year-olds.
So it's been, anime brain rot is really that hangover is hitting hard now. That second wind is toxic fumes apparently.
I can't wait to watch this back and see how many minutes ago Shy ended this episode.
Hell yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to go source 3 octillion tigers. I'll see you later.
I can't wait until Bricky watches this episode back and he's like, I don't remember seeing any of it.
All right, goodbye, everybody.